Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Care. I'm Ellen Fischer, and today we are going to speak with Janet Tribus about her work, which is on the walls around us. And this particular show is up through the 28th of March, so come on in and see it. But you'll have to make a reservation by phoning 772-567-1233. And without further ado, welcome, Janet.
Thank you, Ellen. It's nice to be here.
Oh, we forgot to say what the title of your show is. Tell it to us.
Okay, it's red, black and white, and red all over.
And that's the newspaper, right?
That's right.
Why did you decide to call this show that?
Well, I would say red is a very primary color in many of my paintings. I started originally many years ago with black and white, and now I'm starting to go back into black and white. So I thought that kind of combined them.
Yes, and that was many, many years ago when you had taken a class where you studied drawing on the right side of the brain.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. This is all going back to the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing pen and ink house portraits, but I needed color. It was just not enough for me. But I knew I had to learn to draw. That was it. You cannot make a successful painting unless you know how to draw. So I took that class at the Montclair Art Museum, and then I went to the Art Students League in New York for many years. Used to take the 66 bus from down the hill. We lived in Upper Montclair and got right onto Route 3 and right into the city. And I studied there under really Knox Martin Jr. And I'm having trouble with the other one.
Knox Martin Jr. was your favorite.
Oh, yes.
He's the one that you painted a picture of the model where you became frustrated, turned your back on the model, finished the painting, and even put the model light in the top corner, that hot model light on it. And he said, never give this one away.
Yes. Boy, you're good.
I remember things.
He said, this is a watermark painting.
And do you still have that painting?
Yes.
And is it hanging, or is it in the closet or under the bed?
I call it the barn, but it's a storage unit out in near the airport.
I think you need to bring it home and hang that one up again, especially after this talk when we're thinking about it. Now, you used to paint for about 30 years. You did landscape, but they weren't really landscapes. They were like the rolling hills of New Jersey farmland, with little houses that looked like little Monopoly houses on top of each little hill, paths connecting each little house, and on the paths were girls in black dresses with white collars and red umbrellas. 30 years.
Yes. Yes.
And you became known for that.
I did. People really wanted to buy them. They loved them, and they're very good in a home. They're very easy to live with. So I did that for a number of years, and I just reached the point that I had to just
do
let
something
it go.
Different.
To
and
let
that was
it go.
Fairly recent.
It was. Would you say 2016, 17?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
You were on the cusp.
Well, I went to the Oxbow School. It's part of the Art Institute of Chicago, and it's a summer camp, and it is a camp. And I took a fabulous course in experimental drawing, and it just sent me out. And
it was up in the boonies in Michigan.
Yes, on Lake Michigan in Michigan.
And everybody but you had green hair and nose piercings.
That's right.
Yeah, because they were all young kids.
And I shared a bathroom, and there were, I was the oldest person there, but it was very cool, and I think it's important to do.
And they re-energized you.
Yes, it did.
So let's talk about one of the earliest paintings you did in your new abstract mode, which would have been influenced by that. And that is Say Cheese.
Yes.
You have a lot of fun titles. Now, Say Cheese, I guess one of the things that I notice most about it is there's a face in it, winking one eye, and a kiss curl over the head.
Yes.
And then around it is just an explosion of colors. There's a lot of blue in this one. There's a clock. It almost looks like New Year's Eve, like continuously New Year's Eve. There are certain games in there. I see a tic-tac-toe. I see ladders and cocktails and pizza.
Pizza.
You put everything, well, maybe there is a kitchen sink in there. What were you thinking about? I mean, you decided to go abstract and kaboom.
I know. I just approached that with big arms and big swoops with my brush, and just kind of let it go. And a lot of it I edited. I mean, I start it and then I change it. I delete. I maybe change where it is. I disconnect what was connected and reconnect in a different way.
So there are many paintings under the surface of that painting.
Yes, there are.
Of all of your paintings,
yes.
Mostly. I think that's wonderful. You put sort of all of your favorite things in there, I think.
I think so. I think so, yes.
Maybe a little tipsy. It's a little tipsy, I guess. And it looks like...
Well, you notice the clock. What does it say?
Oh, it says 5 a.m.
No, p.m.
5 p.m. Oh, I thought you'd been out all night partying in this one, and you came home and put it down on canvas.
It's cocktail hour.
I get it, I get it, I get it. Well, of course, naturally. Silly me.
I
really
never
like
see
it.
5 a.m.
I think it's so interesting that when you decided to go rogue, as it were, with this abstract mode, it still has a lot of symbolism, as your little houses and your little people is, and you never left them far behind. And I challenge everyone who comes to see the show to look for the girl with the kiss curl and to look for the little houses and see how many of those you can find in this show. It's really a lot of fun. Another really fun one is Let's Eat Home. And all of these remind me, all your abstracts, you know, in which people are having fun or there's a party feel, they seem like you're in the big city, not little old Vero Beach. So Let's Eat Home is, again, a very active painting, and it shows two people sort of running, I guess, running home.
Running home. She's bringing him home.
She's bringing him home. Let's get out of this rat race.
Yes.
Was that sort of the idea?
That's right.
What do you think they had when they got home to eat?
Well, let me see. A glass of wine.
Of course.
And perhaps a pizza. And, oh my goodness, maybe they played a game.
Sounds like a nice evening.
Or flirted. It looks like very flirty there.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of romance in these. And I think that one especially, where the couple is hurrying to get home.
Yes.
Maybe it's for an early dinner, a dinner at home, maybe for fun and games. We don't know, but it gives you the idea that they're happy and they're romantic and they're going home. Well, let's talk about another one called 1949. Now, I don't know why that number, why that date?
Well, I was a little girl, and there was no television. We played a lot of games. There's even things in there. I have clouds in the sky, and you know how we all lie down on the grass and look up at the clouds. And that really, to me, is a wonderful part of our childhood. But the games of hopscotch and jump rope, Monopoly. I have all kinds of
I think.
dominoes, parcheesi, jacks.
They're all in there.
They're all there. Yeah.
I think that the hopscotch is especially good. I didn't notice it until you pointed out the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Yeah. which is really neat.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, what intrigued me, it looks like a big city with a subway map overlaid on it in that lavender lines, which seem to float a little bit. They do something to your eyes, and they seem to come out. Was Montclair, New Jersey, a big place, a big city?
Well, there were about 40,000 people at the time. I'm sure it's probably not more than it is, because it was pretty built up then. But of course, we had access. You know, the train was right there. I mean, it was in my backyard.
Did you go into New York much from there?
Oh, yes. But we would drive. It would take maybe 20 minutes to the Lincoln Tunnel.
Oh, my.
I'm probably exaggerating, but
it seems shorter, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like in your childhood, you know, if you ever go home and you're an adult and everything's so much bigger, it's either bigger or smaller or shorter. I don't remember it being this big or this small. So that is sort of interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think those purple lines are about? Are they roads? You like roads.
I think it's connections. I think it's lines of, I don't know.
I think lines of connection are good. I mean, I think we've been talking about all of the lines in your pictures as being lines of connections. Those are just a little bit more organized, that look like they're streets and thoroughfares.
Yeah, I decided at one point I had to be bold in this one, and just don't worry about ruining it. Just do it.
Because you really had to overlay those purple lines on top of everything, all those games that you so carefully put on there.
I did.
And you were pleased with the effect then. I think it's great, you know, when an artist gets to a certain point in a painting or some sort of artwork, and they say, this is really nice, I really like it, but can't I push it a little bit more? Can't I go a little bit farther? I want to say something here that isn't quite there. Is that how you felt about that one?
Absolutely.
I think you got there then.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Rapid transit saves the day. The next one I want to talk about is Peace and Light. And I guess because the last person to have a show in here, Tim Sanchez, told you it was his favorite picture. Tell us a little bit about the picture first.
Well, I'm looking at it now. You know, there's many stages this went through. And in my book, I will tell you, all these are in my book. But what I do is I show the stages of each painting, which would be kind of interesting to see how it has evolved. But what I think I like the best about this one is the broken red line.
Yes.
I find that to be kind of, well, would you use the word organic?
I suppose so. Very realistic. It's hard to take a paintbrush. It reminds me a little of those paintbrush marks that Roy Lichtenstein would do. They were completely tightly fabricated illusions or images, cartoon images of a brushstroke, and this reminds me a little of that. It's so carefully done and yet so carefully casual and carefully broken in places that I really like it.
Thank you.
Why do you think Tim thought this was his favorite?
That's a very good question.
Spiraling?
He did like that wrapping. I don't know. I like these forms. I think he probably liked. I mean, there's almost that fish form, or it could be a boogie board or something. It could be something that is another kind of a fun thing. It's food or fun.
Maybe he liked it because you have so much open space in there too.
I like that, yes.
And you really, I think that was one of the earliest ones where you started really playing with a space that doesn't necessarily have anything in it and is playing against the more active lines.
Editing it out,
That could have been it. But what did you tell him when he said that was his favorite?
I said, well, I'm not sure it's mine. I don't know.
That'll teach him to play favorites.
Yeah, I know, to understand it. But, you know, I do like it a lot.
Now, we were talking a little bit about your book, which you have a really beautiful hardcover, full color book of your paintings, and there are little images in there that show the development of each painting, and those are available here for people who come and see the show. They're for sale. Now let's go into some of your black and white things. Chaz Chop is black and white.
Yes.
So you started going back to black.
Well, you know, I used to use a pen that was, I wish I could remember, but they, oh gosh.
Like a rapidograph?
A rapidograph.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. I'll think of something.
I would get so mad at it. Sometimes I could use it like a dart.
Oh yes,
so mad
really
when I couldn't get the ink out.
nibs.
I was just so mad. But anyway, but now we have, what are those, micron pens that are so wonderful in every size. That's ink. We have oil-based Sharpies now. So we're not limited like I was with the rapidograph. Oh boy, that took a lot of years off me.
Did you use one of those oil-based Sharpies in that one?
Yes.
I was wondering how you did that, because it does, except it's bigger. I mean, definitely bigger than one of those micro pen marks, and much, much freer. Chaz Chop refers to something having to do in the news in Seattle over the summer. The summer of the pandemic. That was in 2020, right? It began, in the summer of 2020, and in Seattle, some of the people decided that they were going to take over portions of the city, and it was going to be theirs, and they named it Chaz, and then after a few weeks, they got into a disagreement and decided, we don't like that, we like Chop. So I didn't plan to paint this to be Chaz Chop. It just, I always title a painting after it's done. After, okay. So I don't, if I go in with an idea, then it kills it. It has to be, whatever it wants to be. But when I did this, I looked at it, and there's very organized portions of it, and then there's crazy, wild portions, because that was going to be the summer of love that the mayor of Seattle declared it to be. And so when you looked at this, when the painting said, I'm done, you looked at it, and how long did it take you to think Chaz Chop? Well, I guess it didn't take long at all. It was I probably painted it within that time period. So everything that you take in somehow comes out, although you don't know it, in the painting you're working on. You're right. And then you recognize it. It's like seeing a face of a friend. You say, oh, that's so-and-so. Yeah. And that's how this one was named. I love that. I think that's wonderful. Thank you. Going back to the color just for a bit, I want to look at blurb. Blurb. Blub. Blub. Sorry, I'm used to blurbs, not so used to blubs. Blub is it's kind of an underwater scene. My first painting ever was an underwater scene when I was 12. And I think there's something there. I don't know what, but I do love to snorkel and there are a lot of fish forms in there. A lot of fish forms. But then there's that ladder too. The ladder. There's a lot of ladders. No, they don't. A ladder can be an escape. It could be a way to get in. A way to get in. I do have a lot of ladders. So I even see a kite with a tail. I see a big fish hook. A big fish hook. And a lot of fish eyes. Yes. And the fish also has a symbolism for you, I guess, as a Christian, correct? Yes, it does. So that's a very intentional. I would say it's very natural for me. Yes. It's a wonderful shape. I also think I see a tie that you would wear to church. It looks like a bow tie. Or else it's a fishbone. I don't know. I like that a lot. And you have a lot of the swirly things too.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if there's one of your little houses in here or not, but we'll let our audience puzzle that one out.
Okay.
Let's go to Kiss Kiss, speaking of the summer of love.
And Kiss Curl.
And Kiss Curl. There's a lot of kissing going on in these pictures.
Yes.
Well, this is two little anoles, I guess is what they call them. They're exotics to Florida, just like we are. We came from somewhere else.
I call them a gecko. Is that?
No, they're anoles. A-N-O-L-E-S.
Whoa.
Yeah, they have nothing to do with. They have nothing to do with car insurance. And they are exotics. They came from another place, just like most people in Florida. But these two are kissing. Mm-hmm. Tell us how you developed this one.
Well, it was, of course, during COVID, and a friend of mine was stuck at home, and she got crazy taking pictures of all the anoles around her home, and I thought, well, send me some. I want to see what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So I put two of them together. You know, I decided to incorporate both of them into one canvas. And then it was just two black anoles on a canvas. And I decided that it needed, it was on a screen, it was hanging on a screen, so possibly a form of screen would look good. And I had been taking a couple of classes online in Zentangle, and this is one of those designs, very simplistic design.
Yes, just the square with the diamond and square.
Yes.
But it made a very nice screen, I think. Thank you. So are those anoles on the inside or the outside of the screen, do you think? I can't tell.
Oh, that's a good question. I would think they are in the foreground.
They're in the foreground, so we could actually touch them. We wouldn't be touching the screen. It's sort of one of those half-empty, half-full questions. So if you think it's an anole inside the screen, it probably means you're more optimistic. And if you think it's on the outside of the screen, you just want to push everything away for a while.
That's right.
I think so. Well, let's talk about one more that I think is one of the most intriguing pieces, although they're all intriguing. And that's I Got This. Mm-hmm. I Got This. And it shows a figure, it looks like they're balancing on something above a very happy crowd. It looks like a crowd of protesters, except they seem too happy to be protesting.
Yes. No, I think these are the cheerleaders in this person's life.
Ah, okay. Now, this is not at all autobiographical, right?
Ah, it could be.
It could be.
It certainly could be, yes.
So you're up there on your stilts and you're juggling.
Oh.
Let's just call it what it is.
I love the stilts because I remember my parents gave me stilts for Christmas. Oops, Santa. And also a pogo stick at the same Christmas. Well, wow, that dates me, doesn't it?
They knew you were going to aim high in life. I guess,
did,
and they were giving you a leg up.
You know, they were great because they really believed I could do anything. They really did. They just incorporated that into me. I was the oldest of four.
Well, you were the lucky one then. You all got all the good stuff, and all the others got your hand-me-downs, the broken stilts, the pogo stick that didn't bounce anymore. Yeah, do you think, I mean, it really is funny how when you talk about your paintings, things come back from all eras in your life.
They do.
And I think happily, a lot of your childhood must have been very happy because some of these impressions that you received then were so strong that you carry them today and they still delight you and inspire you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm envious. Well, I do like this one. Unlike the anoles, you left the one with you as a juggler in it blank in the background. You're up there above the crowd. You're trying to keep all the balls in the air.
Yes.
Some of them are falling. Does that feel, is that one of your bad dreams, or is that how you feel every day, or what is it?
Oh, goodness. Well, that was probably when I was younger. I mean, we're all in a, you know, the stages of life. I'm not anymore. I'm real relaxed and enjoying life for sure. But I see this as just that anybody can do it. Anybody, if you
get through life, get through the pandemic.
Get through, I mean, really, I think, I don't know how to describe it. I just think having people around you who love you and support you,
No
I
matter
think is
what
very
kind of
important.
Fool you're making of yourself. Up in
Yeah,
the
they don't
States.
care. They don't care or not, you know.
They don't care. They love you.
Yeah, they love you in
Anyway.
spite of it.
Well, I think that's a good painting to end the show on here today, our little talk,
Ellen.
because you can see the love in all of these paintings, and I think that's a perfect one to end on.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ellen.
Janet, for talking
Thank you so
to us.
much.
And thank you, everybody. Again, we're here at the Center for Spiritual Care, and I'm Ellen Fischer, and thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.